Ballad of a Small Player is directed by Edward Berger and stars Colin Farrell, Fala Chen, and Tilda Swinton. I also saw this at TIFF. I'm still getting through backlog from that festival, it seems, but it is going to be out in theaters very soon and also on Netflix later in the month. This movie is about Lord Doyle, played by Colin Farrell, who is a gambler who is not really having the best time. He's in Macau currently trying to pay off some debts and also hide away from certain things that he's done. And he is on a timer. He needs to make money as soon as possible so that he can at least get out alive from the situations that he's in, because some of them are incredibly dangerous and it could cost him a lot. And as you're seeing things unfold in the movie and the odds are more and more against him with each passing moment, it creates this very stressful experience where you're trying to see him essentially, what happens with him. I was very lucky to have been able to see the movie with the cast and crew at TIFF. It was really awesome to be at that screening experience, get to see Colin Farrell, Fala Chen, Edward Berger, the composer Volker Bertelmann on stage. It was really, really cool. And, getting to see the movie with them being in that audience, yeah, that's an experience which, again, I mentioned this in other things I covered for TIFF. It's one of those things I do not take for granted. It's really, really awesome to have been given that opportunity. But going into the movie, I was actually very excited to see it because I've liked a lot of Berger's recent movies like All Quiet on the Western Front and Conclave. Both of those would be among my favorite movies of their respective years. And so I was very excited to see what he would do with this movie. And I'm going to start with the positives. First of all, Colin Farrell is fantastic in the movie. He's one of the best actors that we have right now, and I think he does an incredible job over here. There are some moments with him where you're just seeing that stress and that complacency and the stubbornness that is within his character as he's consistently trying to hustle his way through one day after another with like, oh, I can make some money, I've got this in the bag, don't worry about it, and this overconfidence that he has, which is catching up to him, and these situations that are becoming increasingly difficult to get out of, leading to even some darkly comic moments with the character. I thought that they were really effectively handled by him, and I have to commend his performance over here. It is really, really great stuff from him. The supporting characters also that you don't get a ton of them. You meet a lot of people along the way, but the two main people who you get to see in the movie are Fala Chen's character and Tilda Swinton. They're both really good in the movie too. And it's also an incredibly stunning movie. It has some of the best cinematography of the year in my book. If you've ever been to Macau, which I actually did when I was a kid, I went to Hong Kong and Macau was like a whole trip. It was a really great experience, but also it's just such a colorful, vibrant city. And there are multiple moments in this movie where you get to see that come to life. And I think the way that has been executed is remarkable. Like, it really does do justice to how Macau looks, and showcasing some of the iconic locations and settings in Macau. Like, really, I think they did a really great job over there. And even when you're at the casino floor and you're seeing some of the games play out, and you're seeing those moments where Lord Doyle is at the table just really trying his hand at every single game and at every single thing that he could potentially make some money out of, those sequences are also really well done. And the way that they're also edited intensely, like, it really does keep you on the edge of your seat. I have a feeling that one of the comparisons that will be made with this movie is with something like Uncut Gems. This idea of, like in that movie, Howard Ratner is also betting big on a lot of stuff, and some of the things are working out, some of the things are really not working out, and it's getting worse and worse as the movie goes by, and you're sort of like almost gripping your armrest trying to figure out what's going on. There are a lot of times like that in Ballad of a Small Player where it feels like, oh god, I mean, this is really, really crazy. I mean, I don't think he's gonna make it out of this. And it's got a thunderous, booming score from Volker Bertelmann, who I just talked about doing House of Dynamite earlier. He does a really great job with the score too. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff which I think is to merit when it comes to Ballad of a Small Player. In the first half of the movie, a lot of what I'm saying right now is very much that, that chunk of it. Unfortunately, when it comes to the second half of the movie, it loses a lot of momentum. And the story goes to places that are not as interesting or as enthralling as everything that you'd seen so far. And without getting into spoilers, it really does, stretch itself out a bit to the point that it doesn't really have much substance past a point. It very much is a style over substance situation as it goes on and on. And that is something that really let the movie down for me. And some of the things that happen eventually, I found them to be very predictable. Like, for a movie that is building things in a certain way, eventually the payoffs that you get with some stuff, you kind of see them coming. And there's one thing that happens which I also fully expected to happen. It's just really disappointing. I don't really know what happened over there. I wish that it had that same amount of energy that the first half of it had. What really carries it through to the end for me are the performances, particularly Farrell, the way it looks, the score, some of the moments which are there with, cards being dealt and stuff like that. I was like, okay, this is some really cool stuff. I just wish that it was as consistently, well paced as that first half, or it was just better edited, because I feel like, again, it just drags way too much. And I do wish there was a little bit more time with some of the side characters that we did meet. Like I mentioned, Fala Chen and Tilda Swinton, they're the two people who we meet otherwise in the movie. When they're in it, I was thinking to myself, like, there are some moments over here, especially with Fala Chen, which are going for an emotional impact of sorts. There are some aspects to her character that we're learning, especially of how she is tied up into all of this and how much she knows about, what can go wrong if Lord Doyle doesn't, get things sorted out as soon as possible. But I was just thinking, like, after a while, I was like, I wish there was a little bit more time to understand a little bit more and to really explore more of her character. We unfortunately don't get that. Even with Tilda Swinton, she's playing like a private investigator of sorts, but not a lot of time spent there either. And so I feel like some of those things do feel a little underdeveloped in the grander scheme of the movie. That being said, I don't think Ballad of a Small Player is a bad movie by any means. It's a perfectly fine watch, and in some cases it's very intense and very well done as well. I just wish it had that consistency all the way till the end of the finish line, and it doesn't quite have that. Still, you get an incredible Colin Farrell performance out of it, some outstanding cinematography. It really cannot be praised enough. A great score, some solid direction from Edward Berger for the most part, and yeah, some really great moments on the casino floor. And so, in that sense, it's still something that you can check out. I'm gonna give Ballad of a Small Player a 7 out of 10. It's out in theaters, like I said, later this week, but it'll also be on Netflix at the end of the month. If you get a chance to see it in theaters, give it a shot. Otherwise, if you're somewhere where Netflix does not release movies in theaters, because that's apparently a thing that still happens, wait till the 29th, I guess. Guys, thank you very much as always for watching. Look forward to more videos very, very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.